Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Meda Dakshinamurtiswamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaye Stuštavagum Sastanubhihi Vishema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dhadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So Namaste once again everyone.
Namaste Guruji.
Namaste.
Namaste, Guru.
Namaste. So we will chant the first mantra. Om Brahma Devanam
Om Brahma Devanam
Pratama Sambhabhuva
Pratama
Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Karta
Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya
Gopta
Gopta
Sabrahma Vidyam
Sabrahma Vidyam
Sarva Vidya Pratishtham
Sarva Vidya Pratishtham
Atharvaya Jeshta Putraya Praha.
Atharvaya Jeshta Putraya Praha.
Very good. So in the last class, we completed the discussion on the Bhashyam of this mantra 1, in which Brahmaji was presented as the first teacher who taught this Brahma Vidya to his eldest son and disciple Atharva. And the purpose of this description was to glorify Brahma Vidya, saying that this Vidya was given by a great Acharya in the form of Brahmaji himself. And therefore it is a great Vidya. And another adjective was used for this Brahma Vidya, Sarva Vidya Pratishta. It is the basis of all Vidya, or it is the culmination of all disciplines of knowledge. And therefore this Vidya is great. So in these two manners, Brahma Vidya was glorified. So glorification of Brahma Vidya is the essence of the mantra number 1. Now we will chant the next mantra. Atharvano yam pravadeta
Atharvaneyam
Pravaneta
Brahmatarvatam
Brahmatarvatam
Purovachangire
पुरोभाग्रे
Brahma Vidyam
ब्रह्मविद्यां
Sabharadvajaya
सबरद्वाजाय
Satyavahaya Praha
सत्यवहाय
सत्यवहाय
प्राय
Bharadvajongirase
भारद्वाजोऽङ्गिरसे
भारद्वाजोऽङ्गिरसे
Paravaram.
परावराम्
Good. So the Padacheda of this mantra, Atharvane Yam Pravadeta Brahma Atharvatam Pura Uvacha Angire Brahma Vidyam Sabharadvajaya Satyavahaya Praha Bharadvajaha Angirase Paravaram. This is the Padacheda. Padacheda means basically splitting all the sandhis, individual words, so that it will be easy for us to understand each word. So in this mantra, 4 more acharyas are presented. The first mantra, who was the acharya? Brahmaji. And who was the Shishya? Atharva. Now, here Atharva, who was a disciple in the previous mantra, has now become acharya. Previous mantra, he was a student. Now he has become a teacher. So Atharva is the first teacher mentioned. The second teacher is a rishi named Angir. Third acharya is Satyavaha. Satyavaha is the name of Bharadwaja. And here, Bharadwaja, of course, is based upon his introduction based upon his Gotra family line. But Satyavaha was his name. And the fourth acharya is Angiras. So 4 acharyas are talked about in this mantra: Atharva, Angir, Satyavaha, and Angiras. And this description is also given to indicate that this Vidya is great. And another idea will be conveyed in this mantra is that this Vidya is given without any distortion. That idea also is given. And this Vidya is pervading Parabrahma and Aparabrahma both. In this Mundaka Upanishad, this Vidya is covering the subject matter of both Parabrahma and Aparabrahma. So all the ideas are given in this mantra. So now let us see the mantra. Atharvane yam pravadeta Brahma. Brahma yam pravadeta yam. The Brahma yam pravadeta. Yam will go with Brahma Vidya. Yam Brahma Vidyam. Which Brahma Vidya? Which Brahma pravadeta? Which Brahmaji taught? Pravadeta means told, taught. Actually, in terms of Sanskrit grammar, it should be pravadata, pravadat rather, not pravadata, pra-avadat. It can be pra-avadat, prakarshena avadat, or just avadat also. But here, pravadeta is used, so we must understand it is Chandasa Prayoga. When we are studying the Upanishads and even Vedas also, we will find that in some places, some words are used slightly differently from their grammatical application. And that liberty Vedas have got. And it is mainly done for many purposes. One of the purposes is that the words of the mantra should fit into the meter. There are so many meters are there. So whichever meter is adopted, the mantra should fit into that. So what the rishis and acharyas have done is that slightly some words have been used differently than what they are appearing in the grammar. So yam brahma vidyam brahma atarvane pravadeta. Which brahma vidya Brahmaji taught to Atharva? Tam. That very same brahma vidya. Atharva uvacha. Atharva taught. Taught to whom? To Angir. So the Brahma Vidya which Brahmaji taught to Atharva, the very same Brahma Vidya, Atharva taught to Angir Rishi. So by using the word Tam, the absence of any distortion or presence of purity of the Vidya being passed on by the Guru to the Shishya is suggested. Otherwise, what will happen? In fact, way back, I think one of the management classes which I attended, there was this demonstration of how communication takes place. So people are made, into a group of 10, 15 people like that. And then the person who is conducting the program, he will tell something to the first person. And the first person has to exactly repeat that in the ears, of the second person. There will be distance because the other people cannot hear what he is saying. So like that, each person will have to whisper that message to the next person. Then what will happen? It will go on like this, and it will be finally the 15th person will hear that message. And that person who is conducting, he will ask the 15th person to say that message. What is the message that he received? And when he says that message, he will ask the first person, was this the message that I gave you? Surprisingly, the first person will say, no, this is not the message. It is actually totally opposite to what you told me. So there has been studies conducted on this, So what happens is in communication, at every stage, some distortion takes place. Because everybody conveys this based upon their understanding of what they have been conveyed. Sometimes they will add some masala to it, their own masala. Like that it goes on. So what the study found was that each time the message was transmitted, it had some minor distortion. And when it reached the 15th person, the whole message was totally different. And there is a word for it. It is called verbal entropy. I think there is also a word in popular Chinese whisper. Maybe just I think somewhere I have read that. But the idea is the same. And it is because of Bhashyakara's grace that he gives the explanation for our own understanding. He points this out. He points, when we come to the Bhashyam, we will see it. What is the meaning of that word tam? Tam can be just that, isn't it? That vidya, tam vidya, that vidya. Atharva told to Angir that he could have said. But what is the significance of that tam Bhashyakara brings out? So that we understand that there is no verbal entropy in this vidya being passed on from one generation to other. being taught by the teacher to the student. There is no distortion in the communication. So, yam brahma vidyam brahma atarvane pura pravadeta tam vidyam atarva angire uvacha. Pura means what? Earlier, before. So, this sentence we can understand as which Brahma Vidya Brahmaji earlier taught to Atharva, that Brahma Vidya Atharva taught to Angir, same Brahma Vidya, what he got, he conveyed. By that, the purity of the Brahma Vidya is being taught, is being conveyed. So one need not have any doubt about any sort of contamination. And not only during those times, we can also take comfort in the fact that this Brahma Vidya which we are learning today is the same unpolluted, uncontaminated Brahma Vidya which Brahmaji taught to Atharva and which Atharva taught to Angir and so on. So Bhashyakara highlights the purpose of the usage of the words yam and tam. Even in Vedic chanting, they maintain this purity by repeating the Veda mantras in several ways rather. So that there is no, because once you change the Veda mantra, then everything has to be changed. That's very difficult. So we have got Ganapathy, Jatapathy, Kramapathy, etc. The same particular sentence will be chanted in different ways so that purity in pronunciation is maintained. And the same idea is conveyed here. Then Saha. Saha means that Angir Rishi. Bharadwajaya Satyavahaya Praha. He taught to Satyavaha. Satyavaha means, the word itself means the one who is carrying the truth. Satyam Vahati iti Satyavaha. It's the name of a rishi. Very nice name. Satyavaha. Anybody is going to have a grandson or something? Well, I can't say son now. Most of you are. Maybe grandson or somebody. Satyavaha is a very good name. By you giving Satyavaha name, you can remember Mundaka Upanishad. And this Satyavaha belonged to Bharadwaja Gotra. So especially who all belong to Bharadwaja Gotra, they can easily take this, give this name to their grandson. And therefore, he is called Bharadwaja because he belongs to Bharadwaja Gotra. Bharadwaja Gotrotpanna Bharadwaja Satyavaha. So he belonged to the family of Bharadwaja. So Saha, that Angir Rishi, taught this Vidya to Satyavaha, who belonged to Bharadwaja Gotra. And Bharadwajo Angirase, this Bharadwaja Satyavaha taught. Here the verb is not there, so we have to supply the verb praha, taught. So Bharadwaja Satyavaha taught this Brahma Vidya to Angiras. Angirase means to Angiras. This Brahma Vidya is given a title here, Paravaram. Paravaram, literally, para, I have already told you, means higher. Avaram means lower. So Paravaram means higher, but higher lower means what? higher, lower. Paravaram is higher, lower. What does that mean? When we see the Bhashyam, Bhashyakara will explain it in two ways. One is this Vidya is coming from Guru to Shishya. That is coming from higher to the lower one. And the second meaning is because this Vidya is covering the subject matter in the form of Parabrahma, Nirgunam Brahma, and Avara, Sagunam Brahma. Therefore, this Vidya is called Paravara. We'll see the details when we study the Bhashya. Okay. So, in this mantra, the names of the teachers were given. Purity of the Vidya was indicated. And also the glorification of this Vidya in the form of covering both Parabrahma and Avara Brahma. All these topics were discussed in this mantra. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita also, we are seeing a similar idea being conveyed. In fact, in the next class, we will see. There, Krishna uses the words para prakriti and apara prakriti. Here, para Brahma and Avara Brahma. See, the idea throughout the Vedantic literature is the same. Different words are used to convey the same idea. That's all. So we will now see the Bhashya. Okay. We will chant. Yam etam
Yam
Yam
etam
etam
atarvane pravadeta
Atarvane
pravadeta
avadat
avadat
brahma vidyam
Brahma
Vidyam
brahma
Brahma
tam eva
Tam Eva
brahmanah praptam
Brahmana
Brahmana
Tam
tam
atarva pura
Atarva Pura
purvam
Purvam
uvacha
Uvacha
uvacha uktavan
Uvacha
Uvacha
angire angirar namne
Angire
Namne
namne
angirar namne. Both angire is
Angire
the mantra.
Angire Namne
Brahma vidyam.
Brahma
Vidyam
Good. So atarvane yam pravadeta brahma tarva tam purovachangire brahma vidyam. This is the sentence of the Upanishad which Bhashyakara is explaining. Yam. Yam means which, referring to Brahma Vidya, as we have already seen. Bhashyakara explains as etam, means this. So Yam, which is this Brahma Vidya, which is Brahmanah Praptam. Here Brahmanah refers to Brahmaji. Please mute. So this Vidya, which is Brahmana Prapta, means obtained from Brahmaji. Prapta means obtained from. Atarvane Pravadeta. Atarvane means to Atarva. Pravadeta. We saw Pravadeta as Chandaso Prayoga or Vedika Prayoga. It is not a usage as per Paninian grammar. But as I said, this is used here because a special license is given to Veda mantras to change the usage to fit the meter, etc. But then Bhashyakara explains it using proper Paninian grammar expression avadat. So pravadita means avadat. Avadat means told, taught, past tense. So this Brahma Vidya, which was obtained from Brahmaji, was taught to Atharva. Tam eva, tam, that, eva, the very same Vidya alone. That Vidya alone, which is Brahmana Praptam, obtained from Brahmaji. So up to this, Atharvane Yam Pravadeta Brahma was explained. Now Atharva Pura. Pura Bhashyakara explains as Purvam. Purvam means earlier, before, in earlier days, in the beginning period of the creation. So Brahmaji taught Atharva. Then Atharva taught Pura Purvam Uvacha. A long time ago he taught. Uvacha means taught. So Uvacha is there in this mantra. Bhashyakara translates it as Uktavan. Uvacha is a verbal form. Uktavan is a participle. Both convey the same meaning only. That is, Sanskrit is such a great thing that same meaning you can convey by either using a verb or using a participle. So to whom did he teach? Angire. Bhashyakara says Angire is equal to Angira Namne, Angir Namne. A rishi whose name was Angir. And what did he teach? Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya. So a rishi whose name was Angir was taught this Brahma Vidya. So the meaning of this sentence is Brahma Vidya which Brahmaji taught to Atharva, that very same Brahma Vidya Atharva taught to Angir Rishi. Now the next word.
In between Satyavaha came, no?
That we are coming to that now.
Oh.
Yeah. I explained only the first sentence of what Bhashyakara's Bhashyam. Now second sentence. Sacha Angi. Angihi Bharadwajaya. Bharadwaja Gotraya. Satyavahaya. Satyavaha Namne. Praha Proktavan. Sacha Angihi. And that Angihi. Saha referring to Bharadwajaya. And that Angihi. Angir is a, for those who know Sanskrit, Angir is a Refanta Shabda. Refanta means ending in R. Ra. Ra is called Refa. So Angir Saha Cha Angi. So Angir, Angihi is the first case singular of the noun Angir. Don't get too worried about all this. In case you know Sanskrit well, I'm just explaining, that's all. So that Angir Rishi, Praha Proktavan, he says Praha Proktavan, taught or told. Praha is verb, Proktavan is participle. To whom did he tell? Bharadwajaya Satyavahaya. To the person called Satyavaha. And this Satyavaha is Bharadwaja. And Bhashyakara says Bharadwaja is equal to Bharadwaja Gotraya. To the person who belonged to Bharadwaja Gotra. Gotra means, as we all know, family line. Family lineage is called Gotra. So, there was a rishi whose name was Bharadwaja. Then all the people who his descendants will be called Bharadwaja. There's a Gotra called Bharadwaja. So there are people with Bharadwaja Gotram. They add to their name Bharadwaja. Like that, every Rishi will have a Gotra, Kaushika Gotra, they will add Kaushik. In fact, in South India, most of the people I find have given up this usage of this Gotra name along with their name. But North India, it is still quite prevalent rather. They use the Gotra name, their name, Gotra name also. So that is the lineage, descendants. And that means what? I mean, in the olden days, this all used to carry great value. If somebody says, I am from the lineage of Bharadwaja Rishi, he will be highly respected. Oh, you belong to that family? Very good. You belong to Atreya family? Very good. You belong to Kaushika family? So that it added a lot of importance to the person. So they used to sort of, because when you do Abhivadaye, I mean, again, I don't know how, okay, Abhivadaye means after Upanayanam, whenever you are doing Namaskara to any elderly people, you have to introduce yourself. And there is a mantra is there, Abhivadaye. So in that Abhivadaye, first Gotra name is taken. Then there is a sutra, which sutra belong to and all that. Those who know Abhivadaye, I did not explain. Those who don't know Abhivadaye, there's no point in explaining also. But that is how one introduces oneself to elders. Everything, what Gotra they belong to, what Veda, whether Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, in that Yajur Veda also or Rig Veda, which Shaka they belong to, all that that comes in that mantra, introductory mantra. It's just like in English we meet, oh, I am so and so and so, BA, BL or MA, ML, professor in so and so university. Like that. Suppose you say, I am a professor in Harvard University. Oh, great. Professor in Harvard University, isn't it? So that there's a value added to all these kind of introductions rather. So Bharadwaja, Satyavaha belong to Bharadwaja Gotra. So maybe Bharadwaja, maybe his son, his grandson, great-grandson, great-great-grandson, we don't know. But he is the descendant of Bharadwaja Rishi. Now his name is Satyavaha. His father also would be called Bharadwaja, his grandfather also Bharadwaja and all that. But Satyavaha is the name. Therefore, Satyavaha Namne. A person, to the person whose name was Satyavaha. Because maybe, we don't know. Well, normally name is given when the child is born. But they must have, I think it's aspiration. Aspiration of the parents that the child should be having in his life value for truthfulness, like all others in their family had. So they named him Satyavaha. So Satyavaha namne praha proktavan. So Brahmaji first teacher, Atharva second teacher, Angir third teacher, Angir taught to Satyavaha the fourth teacher. Now the fourth teacher is teaching to his disciple Angiras. That is said in the next line. We will, I think, we have read, isn't it? No, we have not read this, I think.
No, not right.
Bharadwaja Angirase. Chant.
Bharadwaja Angirase
Angirase.
Bharadwaja Angirase
Swashishyaya
Vasishyaya
Vasishyaya
Putraya va
Putraya
Putraya
va
Paravaram Parasmat
Paravaram
Parasmat
Parasmat
Parasmat Avare
Parasmat
Parasmat
Avare
Avare
Prapta
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 Iti Paravara
Iti
Paravara
Paravara
Paravara Sarva Vidya Vishaya Vyaptehe
Para Sarva Vidya Vishaya
Vyaptehe
Vyaptehe
Va
Tam
Tam
Va
Va
Tam Paravaram
Tam Paravaram
Angirase Praha
Angirase Praha
Ityanushangaha.
Ityanushangaha.
So Bhashyakara takes up the last quarter of the mantra. Bharadwaja hai Angirase Paravaram. So Angirase to Angiras. Paravaram is an adjective to Brahma Vidya. I have already explained when we saw the mantra. Brahma Vidya is Paravara. Both Para and Avara. Pra hai taught. So that is said here. So Bharadwaja hai taught to Angiras. So now there could be a question not in everybody's mind, but in some people, what is the relationship between Bharadwaja and Angiras? Were they father and son, or only teacher and disciple? Because in the case of Brahmaji and Atharva, the relationship was made clear. Jeshta Putraya. Now this question could be in somebody's mind. And therefore, Bhashyakara makes it very clear. Swashishyaya Putraya Va. He says, nobody knows. Both possibilities are there. Swashishyaya means Angiras can be just a disciple of Bharadwaja. Bharadwaja Satyavaha. Putraya Va. Va means or. Putra the son. So either one of these two relationships will have to be there. Guru Sishya, student and teacher. Or there can be both the relationships. They were father and son. And also later on became teacher and student. So Putraya Va. Because you see, in the tradition, one thing we must note. Normally, the father will pass on whatever he knew to the son. So that not only in terms of the lineage, in terms of the birth, but the lineage in terms of the skills of the father is also passed on to the son, and that lineage is kept. That is why, a carpenter's son will be a carpenter. He will be trained for carpentry. So later on, he will take over from his father. Father would have had X number of clients, customers. Then the son also will automatically get those X number of customers. Of course, this is a tradition I am talking about in these days. These traditions, everything has been given up. So a Vedic Pandita, a Purohit, he will teach his son and he will pass on his baton to his son. So similarly, Vedanta teachers also, teachers of Brahma Vidya, they will pass on this to their son. But unless it is specifically said, we cannot assume, because in the case of Brahmaji, it was specifically said, Jeshta Putraya. But in other cases, it is not specifically said, but then there can be only two possibilities. If it is a son, naturally he will pass on his whatever he knew, so that the son continues that lineage of teaching. Or if he's a Shishya, same thing, he will pass on what he knew to the Shishya, so that the Shishya continues to the lineage of teaching. So both possibilities are there. Swasishyaya Putraya Va. So Angiras can be the disciple or the son of Bharadwaja. So to that Angiras, Brahma Vidyam Praha. He taught Brahma Vidya. Which type of Brahma Vidya? Paravaram. So Paravaram Praha. So this Vidya is qualified by Paravaram. He taught this Brahma Vidya, which is Paravara. Now, what is Paravara? As I said, Paravara consists of two words, Para and Avara. Para means higher, Avara means lower. So, what is the meaning of higher and lower? In what sense? Bhashyakara says, Parasmat Avarena Prapta iti Paravara. Parasmat, he uses twice. It's a usage in Sanskrit grammar. It is called vipsa, repetition. It is used to convey the meaning each and every. For example, they say gramo ramaniyaha, means each and every village is beautiful. Similarly, parasmat means from every higher source, from each and every higher one. And higher one here refers to the Guru. Avarena by the lower one. So the lower one referring to the disciple, prapta, received. Iti, therefore, this vidya is called paravara, higher, lower. Because this vidya was received by the lower one, the disciple from the higher one, the teacher. And there is one more perspective we can add. See, traditionally, a teacher will be sitting in a higher pedestal. Students are that's a convention, and the students will be sitting on the floor. You can see, even Gurukulam and all that, same thing was there. Of course, in Gurukulam, what happens is a lot of old people come and join and learn Vedanta. Youngsters can sit on the floor. Old people can't sit on the floor, so they are provided chairs. So many times the teacher and the students are at the same level. But convention, traditionally, teacher is at a higher level, student it is a lower level, literally. So they did not have any problem because the students also will be all young people there in olden days. They will be sitting on the floor generally. And that is why also it is called paravara. So in terms of status also paravara, physically also it was paravara. But then these are all not the main meaning. Even though these meanings can be taken, because Bhashyakara says you can assume any meaning, but the real meaning will come to that. But of course, this higher level business, nowadays, if you go to colleges and all, it is reverse. The students are all sitting in a gallery, which goes up and up and up. And the teacher is at a lower level. So, Swami Nanda ji says, teacher will be on a podium at a lower level. So the teacher, what they have to do? They have to pump the vidya because it will not flow against gravity. If it was teacher was higher level and the students were lower level, then gravity will bring the vidya down to the students. But lower to higher, how will it go? So the teacher will have to use some kind of a pump to pump the vidya to the students who are at higher level. It's all in lighter vein. Huh? But that is what we experience, that even in my college when I studied, I'm talking about 50 years ago, same thing. Students at higher level, what they call is now lecture hall or something like that. Everywhere, no? Even when I went to recently Harvard University because my daughter's convocation was there. There also same thing. The stage is at a lower level and audience are all at the higher levels. Anyway, but the main meaning is para means one who is higher in terms of knowledge. One whose knowledge is higher, is knowledgeable, therefore higher. Guru is higher, not because he is sitting at a higher level. Guru is not higher because he is senior by age. Guru is considered higher because he is knowledgeable. And Shishya is called lower because he has yet to receive the knowledge. Guru is Jnani, therefore higher. Shishya is Ajnani, therefore lower. Right now, of course, he is lower. Afterwards, he will also become higher when he gains Jnana. He will also become a Guru like Atharva, who was the first Shishya and son, and later became a Guru. So, Paravara means the Vidya which is received from higher one to the lower one, the higher knowledgeable one to the lower knowledgeable one. And what is the significance of this adjective used? By this adjective, Paravara, the Upanishad wants to say that this Vidya is to be received from the teacher only. Self-study is not advised. Like they say, self-medication also is dangerous sometimes. Similarly, the self-teaching means you become your own guru. Like many people have this philosophy, that is called Appo Dippo or Deepo Bhava. In Buddhism, this is a very popular philosophy. Appo Dippo means what? You become your own lamp. Means you don't require light from anybody outside. You become your own lamp, means you teach yourself. Atma is your guru. And that is another expression they have. Your Atma is your guru. You don't require any other guru. So let the self become the guru. And many people like it. And that's why they move to Buddhism. Even from Hinduism, they convert to Buddhism. People who have got some authority issues from childhood, problem with their parents, or some authority figure in the family, could be grandfather, elder brother, elder sister. No authority issues. You must have seen this in many families. Very common. In fact, I know a case where sister and younger brother, elder sister, younger brother, when they were growing up, normally, I should not say this. This is not a comment against females, but normally you find women are more authoritative than men. And it is for a very good reason. Because women are the people who control the entire affairs of the house. And without some degree of authority, they have to bring up the children and all that. So they have to put their foot down where it is required to be put down. And therefore, the elder sister will exhibit that authority towards the younger brother. And later on, this could become a very serious issue in the family. Authority issue. The elder brother will then, younger brother, he will then defy all authority. Even a guru, he will defy the authority. All psychological issues rather. Swami Sadatmanandaji, my guru in the Gurukulam, narrates an anecdote. He says once one Swamiji was conducting some talk series in one city. So his host used to come and drop him at the venue. So this host will not come and listen to the talks. He had so much respect for that Swamiji. He liked that Swamiji. Whenever the Swamiji goes to his town, Swamiji will stay with this person only. He will serve him as a person. But he said, I will not attend the classes. Why? He said, I want to figure out everything by myself. Some people have that issue. They will say, don't tell me, let me figure it out myself. Because especially when you are solving some crossword puzzle or some, quiz, something like that. Some riddle is there. You are about to tell the answer. Then the other person, no, don't tell me. I will figure it out. I will figure it out, they will say. In normal Vyavahara, it is fine. You don't want to rely on others. That's fine. But in Vedanta, it doesn't work. One has to go to the teacher. And according to this Vidya, there should be an attitude of surrender. One has to surrender one's ego to the teacher. And that is why in Bhagavad Gita, only after Arjuna said, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam, Krishna starts teaching in the Gita. Before that, Krishna was not the teacher. He knew Arjuna's problem. Whole of first chapter and 10 slokas of second chapter, or at least the first 6-7 slokas before Arjuna said, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Krishna knew Arjuna's problem, but he did not offer. He says, I know your problem, I will teach you. Krishna didn't say that. He waited for Arjuna to say that, please teach me. I will surrender to you. Then he started teaching. And then only this will work. So Brahma Vidya has to be learned from a guru, and the disciple has to have an attitude of surrender to the guru. So guru is Paraha. And Aham, the student, is Avaraha. That particular attitude is indicated by Paravara. So this is one meaning. What is the second meaning? Bhashyakara says, Paravara Sarva Vidya Vishaya Vyaptehe Va. Va means or. Vyaptehe, since it is pervading, extending over. Over what? Vishaya, the subject matter. Of Sarva Vidya, all Vidyas. It is called Paravara. Now, what do you mean by all Vidya? Since this Vidya, which is given in the Upanishad, is pervading or extending over all Vidyas, all forms of knowledge. Remember, we have seen in the earlier mantra, Sarva Vidya Pratishtha. And therefore, this Vidya is called Paravara Vidya. All higher and lower Vidya. In other words, since this Vidya is dealing with Parabrahma, Nirgunam Brahma, and is also dealing with Avara Brahma, Saguna Brahma, it is called Paravara Vidya. Parabrahma is talked about for Sadhyo Muktihi, immediate moksha, here and now, in this life itself. Avara Brahma is talked about for Krama Muktihi. Krama Muktihi means moksha in stages. That is, you do Saguna Brahma Upasana, earn lot of punyam, go to Brahmaloka. Then in Brahmaloka you enjoy. Then Brahmaji will choose to teach you. You learn the Brahma Vidya. Then you get moksha. That is called Krama Mukti in stages. Whereas Parabrahma is Sadhyo Mukti. Nirguna Brahma Jnanam will give you Sadhyo Mukti. Saguna Brahma Jnanam will give you Krama Mukti. Therefore, this Vidya is called Paravara Vidya. Now the last sentence. Tam Paravaram Angirase Praha Ityanushangaha. Angirase, to Angiras. Praha means told. Iti Anushangaha. This is how the connection is. So here the word praha, if you notice, is in inverted commas. Bhashyakara uses inverted commas. So that means what? You have to supply this word praha where it is not there in the Upanishad. So you have to supply this word praha from the third quarter to the fourth quarter of the Upanishad. And this is called anushangaha, connection with the previous word. And these are all technical terms used by Bhashyakara. Here he says anushanga, sometimes he will say adhyahara or vakya vishesha, etc. Here he says anushanga. So when the word is not supplied from outside but borrowed from another part of the sentence, it is called anushanga. What is already there in the vakya, which has been used once, we are bringing it here also, using it again. That is anushanga. We are supplying the word from the previous word, previous usage in the same mantra. All technical jargon, good to know, but not necessary to know. So, praha, in the previous sentence, it is already connected, already used, now reused. Recycling. Praha is again brought here, and therefore it is called Anushanka. So, in this mantra, 4 generations of teachers, namely Atharva to Angir, Angir to Satyavaha, Satyavaha to Angiras, these 4 teachers were talked about. Now we go to the next mantra. I think we have got just 1 minute time. We will read the mantra and see the explanation in the next class. Shonako Havai.
Shonako Havai.
Sorry. Shaunako Havai.
Shaunako Havai.
Mahashalongirasam.
Mahashalongirasam.
Vidivat Upasannaha.
Itivat Upasannah.
Apracha.
Apracha.
Kasminnu Bhagavo.
Kasminnu Bhagavaho.
Vijñāte.
Vijñāte.
Sarvamidam Vijñātam Bhavati iti.
Sarvamidam Vijñātam Bhavati iti.
So this mantra, in this mantra, there is a dialogue between Angiras and his disciple Shaunaka. Well, Angiras was the last teacher we saw in the previous mantra. Now his disciple Shaunaka is there. So this is a conversation between the two. More we will see in the next class. Okay, what they talk and all. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi
Om. Dhanyawad Guruji.
All very much.
ధన్యవాదాలు మహోదయ.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
ధన్యవాద గురుజీ.
Dhanyawad.
Hari Om, Guruji. Dhanyawada and Namaste, Pranam.
Namaste, pranam.
It's just incidentally, I'm proud to say my 2-year-old grandson's name is Shaunak.
Wow, good.
Yes.
Right. It is not Shonak, Shaunak, you should
No,
say.
Shaunak only.
Hmm.
Shaunak. Shaunak. Yes.
Thank you, Guruji.
Very
Thank
good. Thank you, Hari Om. Thank you. So, no questions? No hands have gone up? Heavy subjects. So, question will take some time to evolve. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. Next class.
No, Guruji, you're explaining it like even probably a child would understand. Your explanation is so clear and slow, and every point is made so clear. It's just for us to listen to it again and internalize it.
That's true. That is true. This is all
Thank
for
you.
internalizing, right?
Yes.
The doubt comes. That's okay.
Dhanyavad.
Right. Okay. Hari Om. Thank you all.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Good night.
Night.